He seems like a precious one, but monsters keep screaming in my belly.
Check, check.
I don't care at all. The prices tags I put on.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour, bienvenue à tous et à toutes. Nous vous prions de prendre place. Le show va commencer dans quelques minutes.
So this time I swear I will wait
مرحبا بالجميع, bonjour et bienvenue.
Welcome.
Ravi d'être à côté du vice-président.
My dear Bashir, honorable guests, honorable minister, we're so happy to meet you again at the very important meeting of the insurance world. We are lagging behind with a couple of minutes, but we had to wait for everyone to be back in the room. But we are over 1,000 people in this room, so thank you so much for being so many of you here in attendance with us today. If you need translation,
The speaker.
we're going to use the French, English channels, so please ask for the headsets to the equipment providers.
Nous aider à
If you need translations, says the speaker once again, please use the headsets. This will ease our communication. Thank you very much, dear Tammy. I'm very happy to be here. And actually, we've gone a long way, and we've been doing these great editions for years, and it's so exciting to meet again this insurance and reinsurance family world. Later on, we're going to be listening with great interest and religiously all the outstanding speakers. I had the pleasure to have the recognition and acknowledgement to say that every time I come here to this insurance world, there's something exciting that happens, not only meeting the world insurance family, but also I learned so much, and I always leave with a lot of learnings and teachings. Well, we got used to it. And we got used to you in these kind of meetings, and I'm really happy to see you again. So let's see this Casablanca editions and meetings like a gateway, a door that we can open. And by opening this door, by the way, we're going to open it on a series of horizons to go and explore the risks. The world is made of risks. So let's see, dear Tammy, the insurance world like an umbrella providing safety and security to the world, the businesses, protection of individuals and assets. Well, umbrella is the best symbol to talk about insurance. Let's say and recall that your logo for the insurance, Casablanca Insurance Conference, has evolved. Yes, last year we actually changed the labeling of the Insurance Federation, MSR, and with the change of logo, we said that for the 10th edition, in the same tradition, let's give more sense to this logo. So you see, these are arcs and circles, so the higher you rise, the better you have the sense of protection of the umbrella I referred to earlier on. So now this is the 10th edition. How long has this been going on? Well, 11 years. 11 years that you have been with us, all of you. Well, there was a break over COVID time. COVID hit us hard. So this is 10 year, a very important commemoration and birthday and anniversary. Thank you. Happy, happy birthday. We need to celebrate it. Let's say it out loud. Oh, maybe we could do something very briefly. Let's go through the main topics, and maybe go through the themes that we have been covering over the last 10 years. Well, let me just grab my phone quickly, and let me focus on the four last editions. Let me start with the first edition. The first theme was sustainable development in the insurance world. Well, themes are actually sometimes picked up according to the time, conjuncture, and time political world. And the second edition, we focus on the customers' relation with the era of digitalization and the rise of digitalization. And the third edition was on a topic that we all carried out with our friends here in attendance in the room. We talked about emerging risks, and believe me, we're going to be talking and focusing on it in this edition. And the fourth edition was a landmark for me, and it was really dear to my heart. I actually interacted with Naho, if you remember well, this little rowboat, a lot of stress. Because the rowboat, we were kind of concerned that he would behave the way we wanted him to behave. Now, remember the fifth edition, this face that was interacting with us through an AI technology, and this is also about what is the Casablanca Rendezvous is about, bringing a technological touch and modernization touch. And this is the very landmark of a continuity of digitalization. So now we're going to go to the sixth edition. We talked about the new insurance borders. The seventh edition was right after the pandemic. So we had to address the COVID and pandemic. So I remember at that time, it was on the phygital. We were actually virtual, hybrid, person. So we had huge distances between us. We could not shake hands, and we didn't even talk. So after the seventh edition, we had another edition, the eighth one, on the sustainable insurance and broadening to the health coverage, which is part and parcel of the very large project of His Majesty the King to broaden and extend the health insurance to everyone. The ninth edition was on car insurance, a great ecosystem. And the 10th edition, my dear Tammy, I'm sorry, there's someone who's, well, these are some of the drawbacks of the technology. People need to be on time. Well, it's better to be on time. So we spoke about this ninth edition. The 10th edition today is a very critical timeline and event. Can we have a couple of ideas on figures? How many participants did we have, or we're having? So if you allow me, I will talk to the room. You were 10,000 people who attended the last 10 editions. We are in a turning point. The Rendezvous of Casablanca is about 100,000 participants, or 1,100. 48 nationalities, 1,000 people, or 10,000 people, 48 countries. You are today 45 countries represented in this Casablanca Insurance Conference. It's good to have 45 countries in the same room. And those who are not here, well, too bad for them, because everything is happening in Casablanca. This is the place to be. And we are proud with our President, Mr. Ben Salah, to actually start this conference that has a say internationally and on the international arena. I'm not only just flattering ourselves. I'm talking about Africa and the Arab world, people from America and people coming from all over the world. So now the Casablanca International Insurance Conference is well known and world known, and we have 10,000 attendees, 350 speakers. So maybe we need a couple of liters of coffee to be up. Well, I think since the very beginning of this conference, we've been drinking hundreds of liters of coffee, but this is a DNA in our DNA. So beyond coffee, a lot of secret businesses, networking activities, relations, connecting people, B2B encounters between the insurance businesses. So this is really important. So we have these figures to share with you to really allow all the businesses and the players and stakeholders in this business to meet. And finally, and lastly, this is a great visibility nationally and internationally. Now, this is not the first and initial goal, but rather to get together the insurance community and the ecosystem and maybe reverse our trend and maybe look at things from a different perspective, listen to the needs in all parts of the world, and see and learn from other parts of the world how they address the risk issues, risk management, insurance businesses, and maybe start new and be inspired by new ideas and start new projects here in this part of the world. Well, in one of the editions, we spoke about the way to build a new vision and revert things. Well, we disrupt. Disruption is very important. We keep disrupting in the business and the insurance business. We're not well understood by other players, but let's look at things from a higher perspective and elevate ourselves and look at things from the sky. Well, this is great. And it's part and parcel from the of the Casablanca skyrocketing perspective. Well, this is the 10th edition. What can we say about this program? QR codes are distributed, and the first QR code will allow you to download an app, and you have a beautiful review after the program. And I'm saying that this because the team of the Federation has worked on this, and we had great contributions and speakers to this event. And I took the time to read carefully all the interviews, and I can say that are incredibly enriching and inspiring. I please urge you to read them. And QR codes on photos, by the way, please use them. I use them myself. Enter your email address, and of course take a photo of yourself, a selfie photo, to authorize the use and be cleared. And once I did that, I received a series of emails, and every time I'm recognized by this facial recognition, I'm sent all the photos. This is great because you can keep all your photos, even those that are taken at the lobby, everywhere. So please, code, and remind you that AI is present with us. Of this big room and talk in private. So on this 10th edition, so what can we say about the quality and expertise of all speakers and personalities who will be with us today and tomorrow? What can you tell us, Mr. Badju? Keeping in mind those high and outstanding speakers who are with us, well, there are a lot of personalities, senior personalities. I'm not going to list them all, but what I can say, we always focus on this first morning. But tomorrow, by the way, we have another beautiful morning session with Marc Crappy, who will be doing the opening tomorrow. We've welcomed him a couple of years ago in the opening. He's a very outstanding and high-level expert of the world economy vision. And Africa has the honor to receive Mr. Thiam, who is the CEO of Credit Suisse, Swiss Credit, and now he is running for a political life. He's going to be shared in Côte d'Ivoire. It's going to be shared as of the insurance world to overcome the constant challenges. So please be on time and be there. Be on time. So before welcoming our first speakers for this opening, official opening, that this morning, please kindly note that we're going to be listening to great experts of the insurance world. We will also be listening to the Honorable Minister of Economy and Finance, Mrs. Fattah. But right after the coffee break, we'll be listening to 4 outstanding experts from the 4 parts of the world who will be sharing with us their vision. And we'll close with the critical aspects on the insurance business in light of the climate change. And this is part of the uncertainties that we need to address. Thank you very much. We're going to be right away the president of the Federation of the Insurance Federation. Mr. Ben Salah, you have the floor. Please, a big round of applause.
Good morning, each and everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God. Madam Minister of Economy and Finance, Mr. Chairman of ACAPS, dear friends and colleagues, 10 years on. I'm both moved and proud at what we've achieved. And you have had a preview, a extraordinary presence, and more numerous. And thank you for honoring us and making this a world event. Thank you. We have a real meeting, a sector that plays a major role in countries and which helps to strengthen the resilience of households as well as those of corporations, regardless if they're small, medium, or large size. Insurance is more than ever on the front line. It accompanies our fellow citizens from their very birth and throughout their lives, be it in their personal or professional projects. It is there and present in the event of hard blows. It can also provide them serenity and a great relief in sometimes desperate situations. Managing risk, modeling and understanding it are all of our day-to-day business. Albeit it is undeniable that in recent years new risks have emerged or are becoming pronounced, putting our traditional conventional models at the test. Beyond the risk, it is the uncertainty of the world in which we live that poses major challenge to our industry. Now imagine simply a 19th century insurer who our modern day in Sherlock Holmes clad between us. He would undoubtedly be at a loss, because his or her knowledge would be limited to fire, to shipwrecks, not to mention carriage or coach accidents that they experience on those days. These days, some people are protecting their image and reputation on social networks, cyber attacks on their connected objects home. Our societies are evolving, and hence we need to keep pace with them. But the changes are more and more increasingly rapid and unexpected. According to many an expert, reducing uncertainty and controlling risk are the key global challenges of the 21st century. The latest report of the World Economic Forum paints a pessimistic picture on the global risk trends over the next 2 years.
Qui devrait empirer.
Risks that are likely to worsen over the next decade. According to the same report, misinformation, I am repeating, misinformation is one of the greatest risks of humanity. This #1 risk is even ahead of climate events. The growing concern on misinformation is to a large extent driven by the potential of AI, artificial intelligence. It can be misused to manipulate and influence public opinion, which sometimes causes serious damage, economic, political, not to mention societal damage. While science and technology have undergone extraordinary development over the recent decades, they have unfortunately had a noxious impact on the environmental balance. NatCats, natural catastrophes, are occurring one after the other, increasing frequency and intensity. Only in 2020, they affected the 4 continents between floods, hurricanes, and earthquakes. Morocco was not spared. The Al Haus region was hit by the most violent earthquake ever seen in our country. Fortunately, the kingdom has, in January 2020, put in place a compulsory coverage system against the consequences of CAT-NATs, or catastrophic events. This system has made it possible to cover insured losses, both material and physical, along with the uninsured losses through the Solidarity Fund against the consequences of catastrophic events. Our country has had a succession of years of drought, which has put a great deal on the climate multi-risk insurance. This is, by way of recalling, this is a public-private partnership, which provides safety nets for farmers. Over and above the climate risks and natural disasters, our business is also confronted to a plethora of uncertainties. These, inter alia, include geostrategic tensions, risks of pandemics, and the accelerating pace of technological innovation, all of which make cyber risk management even more complex. A cyber attack can cost hundreds of millions of euros to a large company. According to a recent IMF report, the scale of these losses has more than quadrupled since 2017, reaching out $2.5 billion. I think, let's face it, in the face of such risks, there's still a lot to be done. As you know, like most of us, and I've seen during my adolescence, all of the big disaster films, The Day After Armageddon, films about the future, the likes of Blade Runner or Minority Report. Little did we know that over the years we would come face to face with certain themes in these films, which at the beginning were pure fiction. Today's world is facing unprecedented upheavals in their suddenness and scale. The reality is that our societies have never had such need for insurance. We need to be in tune with the challenges of our times, and we need to develop a forward-looking vision. So we are right at the heart of the themes of this 10th edition, What Insurance in a World of Uncertainty. But let's remain optimistic. All of such challenges do represent for us also sources of opportunities. It is we'll be able to overcome them, including through the sharing of experiences and a better political knowledge, not forgetting the PPP and the support of regions, which has never proven so essential. Ladies and gentlemen, on our domestic market, the challenge we face every day is to extend the coverage to as a large number as possible. With a penetration rate of about 4%, just about 4%, we are certainly doing better than most Arab and African countries, but there is still a way and room to improve. We need to be more creative and more inclusive. In addition to our actions, the strategy for financial inclusion, we have launched with the Supervisory Authority, ACAPS, a strategic study aimed, among other areas, to identify the levers for developing a roadmap for implementing these. Over and above this, the lessons learned from the management of the Al House earthquake argue in favor of making certain types of cover compulsory to warrant their protection, particularly as regards comprehensive home insurance. In the same vein, it is also time, more than time today, to adopt the obligation to cover the risks to which we expose our neighbors, as a large number of developed countries have done. That being said, a number of projects are being implemented, but also are taking time because of their cross-cutting nature. I'm talking about dematerialization of car insurance certificates. Another topic is also close to our hearts. I mean distribution. The re-engineering of Book 4 of the Insurance Code is well advanced and should lead to and culminate in a significant reform in this area. I see people nodding and smiling. Yeah, it is important to make our agent networks more resilient and more entrepreneurial. We need to enable brokers to get organized better and more efficiently, and banks to enhance the range of products they offer. It is as important to open up to other distribution channels, sometimes disruptive, yes, that can address new customer niches. The world has changed since the enactment of the Insurance Code. It is therefore imperative that we kept abreast of all such evolutions. Dear participants, uncertainty is certainly at the heart of our discussions, but I am, on my part, certain and confident that we are going to have 2 productive days, rich and productive, not only content-wise, but also B2B meetings-wise. I'm keen on thanking all the speakers, insurers, reinsurers, brokers, economists, regulators, experts, each in their respective field. I'm also keen on thanking all of, big thank you to the friendly federations who are going to contribute greatly to our work. I'm thinking Assureur, our American, Japanese, Spanish, Dutch, Swiss, Egyptian, Omani friends, not to mention, of course, the United Arab Emirates, who are featured at this 10th edition. We are likewise delighted to have amongst us the major global and regional associations, which is the GFIA, Global Federation of Insurance Association, Insurance Europe, the Global Arab Insurance Association, the African Insurance Organization, and the European regulator, EIOPA. I wish us excellent conference. Thank you. Thank you, my very dear President. Thank you for this opening keynote. And we have heard the topics and the order, and this speaks volume about the challenges lying ahead. So, of course, now the minister's speech and the following speech. Please, Mrs. Nadia Fatah.
Bienvenue, Madame la Ministre.
Monsieur le Président,
Mr. President of the Moroccan Insurance Federation, Mr. President of the Insurance Social Welfare Authority, Madam President of the European Authority of Insurance and Professional Pensions and Funds, ladies and gentlemen, Director Generals, Presidents, ladies and gentlemen, very dear friends, I have a lot in the room. Good morning. I am particularly delighted and honored to partake in the works of this opening ceremony of the 10th edition of the Casablanca Insurance meetings placed under the high patronage of His Majesty King Mohammed VI. May God assist him. Standing witness, of course, to the importance given by His Majesty to the insurance sector and industry as a major leader of development of the country. I would like to congratulate the Moroccan Federation of Insurance in the person of Mr. Mohammed Hassan bin Saleh, its president, first for the choice of the thematic of this year, which, as has been the case for each of the 10th editions, that are of great relevance, and also the organization, for the quality of the organization of this meeting that has become after which convenes more than 1,000 participants from 44 countries. I'm really rejoicing to see that featured are the United Arab Emirates, a friendly country with whom our exemplary relations are only going to gain momentum. Marhaban bikum. Most welcome to you in your country. Ladies and gentlemen, this 10th edition's theme, What Insurance in a World of Uncertainties, is strongly correlated to today's reality. As a matter of fact, uncertainty has become a constant, a major feature of our actions on a basis with a wide. It is now singled out by its multi-dimensional aspect, both economic, climatic, digital, not to say geopolitical. Hence, the climate change that our country is now going through these past years is increasing the frequency and intensity of meteorological risks and embarks the insurance world into a new era, that of uncertainty, in view of the fact that classical methods of forecasting are not as efficient as we used to before. More than that, technological progress, disruptive, are transforming the uses, the habits, and the behaviors, and induce on a continual basis new needs and new, more personalized and more complex coverage and accompanying-wise. These progress are also a source of no risks, cyber risks, that today lead to major fears in the view of their magnitude. In view of this context, and as you know, Morocco has also been facing multiple crises, some of which are exogenous, just like the COVID-19 pandemics and geopolitical conflicts the world over. Others are also likes of the 6 consecutive drought years and the very, very sad earthquake of Al-House.
Despite all those drawbacks stemming from those shocks, the Moroccan economy still is witnessing and showing a confirmed resilience capacity, which is a fruit of structural reforms aiming at building a strong, sustainable, and inclusive development. So this process was accompanied by support measures in order to mitigate the social and economic repercussions of the geopolitical persistence internationally, as well as the effects and impact of climate change. Thanks to this, Morocco has been seeing his rating improved thanks to the solid macroeconomic and institutional frameworks. From the environmental standpoint, Morocco is committed to pursue its economic transition and energy. And among its priorities, Morocco has set up the fight against climate change. In this regard, the government has carried out the non-carbon economy, a better energy security, and protection of water resources. On another aspect, the proactive management of our countries to manage the disaster-related events has allowed all the major fundraising and aid to the earthquake victims in the aftermath of the earthquake. So not only rescue operations were carried out in favor of the devastated and harmed victims, but also make them benefit from all the social medical coverage that have. In this panel today, you will see the return of experience with the uncertainties of the earthquake, where the Moroccan experience will be presented. Ladies and gentlemen, the scope and diversification of challenges facing households and companies and businesses require from the insurance business world that you are a proactive approach and more innovating approach, an example to complete the action and add on the activities for social inclusion, financial inclusion, and also fighting and controlling disasters. So let me call the priority fields. First of all, rethink the inclusion mechanisms to address needs of most vulnerable populations. It goes without saying that inclusivity is at the very heart of the insurance DNAs. But the recent developments show the need to strengthen this ambition to cover the needs of the growing population with interconnected needs. The Ministry of Finance and Economy, with the participation of all stakeholders, is preparing a new roadmap aiming at ensuring all those efforts in the framework of the National Strategy of Financial Inclusion. This new roadmap is a great opportunity, a new opportunity for the sector to come up with innovating actions on brave and audacious that are likely to highlight and implement the insurance business. Now this is my turn to convey messages to all of you. The second leverage consists in strengthening responsible and accountable investments with high economic impact. Insurance companies are high institutional players and major stakeholders and players of our economy. Ecological projects or public utility projects contributing to the social and economic development of the country. A third leverage will be strengthening PPPs to cover the extreme risks that could not take on board alone. Over the has witnessed a severe drought that has increased fertilities and vulnerability in the remote rural areas. In this regard, an interministerial commission bringing all the stakeholders in the insurance sector has just been created to ensure the implementation of adapted tools and innovating financial tools to fight drought. We rely and count on your commitment and dedication to finalize a drought coverage instrument that could be inclusive and sustainable. It would be quite similar to the natural disaster mechanism put in place in 2020. The third law leverage would be to start holistic mechanism or risk-related mechanism. So all the tools that were implemented in the past have proved successful, but mitigated success. So the approach of this governance should be rethought. Therefore, it becomes urgent to adopt virtual technologies, approaches, and usage for a better prevention and management of risks. It is important to broaden the risk mutualization and pooling approach by including the geographic and temporal dimension to face the challenges of the short-term and long-term climate disasters and challenges. Of course, this requires a coordinated approach, mobilizing both public organizations, state organizations, insurance world, public and sector. This needs to be based on a solid macroeconomic framework in which all economic players will be involved. And I can tell you and promise you that the government will pursue its consolidated efforts to strengthen the macroeconomic framework. Also, increase and strengthen a macroeconomic solid framework to complete the support of the private sector with three axes: consolidation of financial stability, deepening the role of the financial markets and the financing the economy, and the promotion of financial inclusion of households and very small enterprises. The last obstacle that really slowed down the development of the insurance businesses by promoting a modern legislation focusing on technology promotion and taking here very public commitments. Also build the local capacities of underwriting by ensuring more funding for insurance and reinsurance companies, and also by encouraging the leaders of national and regional players. I'd like to close to once again commend the National Federation of Insurance Companies in Morocco, and I'd like to thank you, and hopefully you will pay, and I look forward to your recommendations and wish you best of success over the next 2 days of proceedings. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Thank you for your great and outstanding keynote speech and your presence. And this shows how is the commitment of the government. And I have seen people taking notes during your speech, Honorable Minister. I'd like to now invite the President of the insurance pension schemes, Mr. Shafi, is going to take the floor.
In the name of God, the All-Merciful, welcome to everyone. Minister of the Economy and Finance, Mr. President of the Moroccan Insurance Federation, Madam President of the European Insurance and Occupational Pensions Authority, dear President of the Emirates Insurance Association, dear Presidents, Chief Executive Officers and Directors, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure that I take part today in the work of this 10th edition of the Casablanca Insurance Meeting. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the Moroccan Insurance Federation, headed by Mr. Mohamed Hassan Ben Saleh, for the annual organization of this event, which is now celebrating its 10th anniversary. We will address a subject as vast as it is complex and closely linked to national and international news: what insurance in a world of uncertainty? To be thoroughly examined so as to better understand the uncertainties facing the sector. It requires us to step out of our comfort zone and demonstrate great agility and a strong ability to adapt. Indeed, the stakes are high for the sector due to the multiplication of emerging risks such as health crises, climate change, risks related to natural disasters, technological and geopolitical upheavals, combined with the uncertainty of their occurrence and developments. And this poses new challenges to the sector. Starting with the need to transform risks into opportunities and find a new balance between emerging risks and resilience in this context of uncertainties that is changing expectations and needs and modulating markets. This situation requires insurers to make sustainable efforts and think in an innovative fashion to meet a double challenge, reducing the limits of insurability while protecting property and people and safeguarding the resilience and solvency of the sector. But how can this be achieved, and how can risks be better managed in an era of unprecedented uncertainty that is likely to endure? In our opinion, as the regulator of the insurance sector in Morocco, a forward-looking management strategy is required in order to respond in a timely and appropriate manner. In this regard, I'd like to emphasize, first of all, that I am firmly convinced that the emerging challenges facing the sector can only be met through a strategy based on cooperation and consultation between countries, especially in the current context of market globalization and rapid evolution. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Morocco in particular, ACAPS closely monitors macroeconomic developments and risks to the stability of the insurance sector. Allow me, before mentioning some of the projects we are carrying out to support the sector in its development and modernize prudential supervision, allow me to underline an important fact that should not be overlooked when addressing today's subject. The political and economic stability that Morocco enjoys under the enlightened leadership of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, may God assist him, is a major asset. You'll be aware that political and economic uncertainties can have a significant negative impact on the sector's development. Thanks to a stable political environment, the players in the Moroccan insurance sector can operate in a context that fosters innovation, growth and the trust of policyholders. This translates into greater attractiveness for investments and better protection for policyholders, thereby helping make the insurance sector more robust and resilient in our country. Ladies and gentlemen, in this national context, the Moroccan insurance sector has demonstrated its resilience by maintaining its good growth momentum, plus 4% in 2023, and by generating a solvency margin above the regulatory threshold. Nevertheless, the current economic situation requires us to be proactive and remain vigilant in the face of various transformations and unforeseen events in order to be able to navigate this context in a confident and timely fashion. Indeed, even in a stable environment, unpredictable events can have a significant impact on the business of insurers. For example, Morocco, like the rest of the world, has suffered in recent years from inflationary pressures caused by several shocks, such as the COVID-19 health crisis and geopolitical tensions, which have certainly impacted insurers' balance sheets. Looking ahead, domestic inflation predictions are quite reassuring domestically. Let's hope that the easing of inflationary pressures will be sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, the expanding world of uncertainty we are living in is forcing us to rethink our strategies in order to make the insurance industry more resilient and meet the needs of policyholders. In this context, we are very interested in the governance dimension, which includes the risk-based solvency project, which is in line with international standards. We note with great satisfaction the progress made in this project, which will soon be submitted to the adoption circuit. This far-reaching project will undeniably contribute to making our operators resilient in the face of increasingly volatile and extreme shocks. Of course, as this project was designed, everything has been done to ensure that the transition to this new prudential regime does not hinder the financing of the economy and of our country's strategic infrastructure projects. Ladies and gentlemen, in a changing environment, the insurance authority is ensuring that the prudential framework remains effective and that it is responsive to developing risks. Let's start with the most pressing risk of our time, climate change. As you know, the increase in frequency and intensity of climate events is having a definite impact on the insurance industry. In this regard, I'd like to stress that we must be well aware that financial risks must not overshadow climate risks, especially in the current context as catastrophic events become more frequent. These events can affect the resilience of financial institutions. The sector is called upon to go beyond its traditional role in covering catastrophic events. It must accompany the energy transition of our economies. We are ensuring we better understand the effects of climate change on the sector, and on the other hand, to put in place adequate prudential rules. This is done with a view to achieving the expected objectives in terms of stability and resilience in the insurance market for the benefit of policy holders. With this in mind, we have been working on an instruction on the governance and management of financial risks related to climate change and the environment to address the challenges and impacts these risks have on the insurance business. This work has been done in consultation with the insurance sector. And I'm glad that Morocco has come a long way in terms of proactively dealing with climate hazards, which has enabled the public authorities to respond effectively to the consequences of Al Hawz earthquake, and the insurance sector to support the measures put in place following the high directives of His Majesty the King, may God assist him, to come to the aid of the stricken population. This tragedy, as painful as it is, was a reminder of the importance of our new catastrophic event coverage plan. This has made it possible to mobilize 3.2 billion dirhams for the benefit of the victims. Together with the public authorities and the profession, we're aware that the coverage gap must be bridged, and reflection has already been carried out to find more inclusive schemes. Ladies and gentlemen, in the face of uncertainty, there are no miracle solutions, just as there are no foregone conclusions. The current situation requires the sector to be proactive by factoring in developing risks, such as cyber risk. While the promotion of digitalization is now an imperative for insurers to remain competitive and face digital transformations and adapt to new consumer habits, the fact remains that we must keep abreast of the risks associated with them, in particular those related to cyber security. For our part, as a regulator, we have initiated a draft instruction aimed at setting out the principles to be considered by insurance companies for the management of cyber risks. The aim is to establish an effective cyber security system that guarantees the operational security of insurers and protects the data of policyholders and third parties. We need to create the right conditions to make this risk insurable and economically sustainable. While new options for risk sharing between insurers, reinsurers and policyholders can be entertained, it is up to public authorities and economic operators to develop a culture around cybersecurity. It must be said that raising awareness is an important pillar to improve the protection of policyholders and strengthen the resilience of our economies. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to raise an issue of the utmost importance for the development of the sector, the issue of trust. While trust is essential in normal times, it is becoming paramount and one of the determining factors of the resilience of the insurance ecosystem in this uncertain context. As you know, policyholders' trust in insurers can only be strengthened and maintained if the insurance offer is diversified and of high quality, and if the interests of consumers are protected. In this context, the sector is called upon to reinvent itself and strike a delicate balance between the need to respond to different risks while avoiding unreasonable exposure. With this in mind, it is clear that the expected revival is based in particular on the need for a continuous adaptation of the insurance offer. The sector will have to anticipate new risks and offer innovative solutions that are adapted to consumer needs and new circumstances. We are very sensitive to all these issues, which are at the heart of our mission to promote best practices, protect policyholders, and promote financial inclusion. As part of this, we are working to close the gaps in protection by exploring, in consultation with the industry, new insurance channels to improve the economic security of people and their assets. A strategic study to this end has just been launched, the results of which are expected by the end of the year. Moreover, it goes without saying that the reduction of social and spatial disparities in protection cannot be achieved without a competent and efficient distribution network. It is with this in mind that we have initiated, together with the Ministry of the Economy and Finance, the revision of the legal framework governing the distribution of insurance. We are pleased to see this project take shape and have a broad consensus. I remain confident the changes ahead will improve inclusion, open up new horizons for distributors, and strengthen their role in the value chain between insurers and policyholders. Ladies and gentlemen, we must constantly be able to reinvent resilient development models, as we did during the COVID-19 health crisis. As a reminder, our country has provided prompt, and appropriate responses. Under the enlightened leadership of His Majesty King Mohammed VI, may God assist him, Morocco has launched a social revolution, allowing all Moroccans to benefit from adequate protection. 3 years on, the generalization of social protection are therefore at a critical juncture when the insurance sector is expected to play a vital social role in a world of uncertainty. And it will have to do so by constantly keeping them into opportunities. While current models of risk pooling and dispersion are under pressure, it is up to us to think of solutions to preserve and support insurance. Insurance must continue to cushioning economic shocks. This brings me to the end of my remarks. I am convinced that this meeting will be an opportunity to exchange ideas, share best practices, and strengthen our common commitment to a resilient, proactive insurance sector that serves everyone. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, President. This is an opportunity to thank the participants, especially the Emirati delegate that we are proud to host in this city, Casablanca. And now we will welcome the President of the Emirati Insurance Association, Chairman of the Board of this association. Thank you for your presence and welcome to Casablanca.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. صباح الخير. Mr. Mohammed Hassan bin Saleh, Federation President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you with immense pleasure and gratitude on behalf of the Emirates Insurance Federation to mark a significant moment, the signing of an MOU that lays the foundation for a collaborative framework in the realms of development and cooperation within the diverse classes of the insurance industry. This partnership isn't just a milestone. It's a strategic move towards sustainability, development, leveraging the experience and capabilities of developed countries, particularly in the intricate field of insurance. The growth of the insurance sector in our region necessitates such alliances to achieve progress that benefits us all. I'm delighted to see this joint cooperation unfold, a testament to the robust relation between the United Arab Emirates and the Kingdom of Morocco in terms of development, growth, and prosperity. May this agreement be a catalyst for success, progress, and development for both our nations. The year 2022 has been pivotal in our collaboration with the UAE Central Bank, being the regulator of United Arab Emirates insurance industry. Through constructive discussions, we proposed the formation of a working group involving representatives from the Emirates Insurance Federation and the Central Bank. This group will delve into pressing issues in the insurance sector, addressing challenges and ensuring compliance with regulations. Our joint efforts span various fronts. The insurance sector in the UAE has experienced commendable growth and expansion in 2023. Key performance indicators point to a positive trajectory, with total written premium increased by 12.7% annually, reaching 53 billion dirhams, which is 14.5 billion US dollars. In the realm of policy issuance, there has been a substantial 13% annual increase, resulting in a total over 10 million policies in 2023, compared to 9 million in the previous year. This surge underscores a growing base of insured individuals, indicating an augmented market penetration rate. Notably, this uptick is predominantly attributed to a remarkable 30% rise in property and liability insurance policies. These include policies for motor, engineering, construction, energy, fire insurance, and other specialized areas such as liability insurance, workers' compensation insurance, and agriculture insurance. Turning our attention to claims, the total paid claims witnessed a 6% year-on-year growth, reaching 31 billion dirhams in 2023. This increase is primarily driven by an over 9% uptick in property and liability insurance claims, especially in fire, motor, engineering, and health insurance. As of 2023, the insurance landscape comprised a total of 60 companies, distributed among 24 national companies and 26 foreign companies and 10 takaful companies. Additionally, the number of insurance-related professions increased to 491, marking a significant rise from 460 in the previous year. In terms of financial health, the net acceptable assets minus liabilities grew to 19.8 billion dirhams in 2023, compared to 18 billion dirhams in 2022. This surplus, the minimum capital margin, increased to 12.6 billion dirhams. The surplus in the capital adequacy margin reached 9.8 billion dirhams, and the surplus in the amount margin increased to 12.8 billion dirhams. These robust figures reflect thriving and dynamic insurance sector poised for continued growth and success in the years to come. The Emirates Insurance Federation successfully organized the 28th African Asian Insurance and Reinsurance Federation FAIR 2023 conference in Abu Dhabi and the AYUMI Asia Forum in 2023 in Dubai, marking a significant step in our regional engagement. Looking ahead, in collaboration with the Gulf Insurance Federation, we are set to host the 19th Annual Gulf Insurance Forum in Dubai on the 15th and 16th of October under the theme, The Landscape of Digital Disruption in the GCC Regional Insurance Industry. Will be explored with dynamic speakers, presentations, and discussions. In conclusion, I extend my best wishes for the success, progress, and prosperity of this agreement. May it be the impetus of the continued growth, development in our country's insurance sector. Thank you very much.
Shukran Sayyid Khalid Al-Badi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khalid Al-Badi. Merci.
Je voudrais rappeler à mes côtés le vice-président de la Fédération.
I'd like to recall to the president of the Federation, Vice President of the Federation, Mr. Badu, to join me on stage. We've just listened right now to the speech of the president of the board of the Emirates Association of the insurance sector. And now, right away, we're going to be proceeding to the signing with the Honorable Minister, to the signing of this MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, that she referred to in her speech, keynote speech. So I'd like maybe to share with you a brief reminder. Mr. Badu, can you remind us briefly the content of this MOU? So it actually sets the tone for the general cooperation in the future. The market of the Emirates is gaining great momentum and using increasingly new technologies and digitalization. So Moroccan market has so much to learn from the Emirates experience. From this standpoint. And we also have very interesting experiences with the background and long-standing history in life insurance, car insurance, but we want to go beyond. And with our Emirates friends, Emirati friends, we want to have a look and review our national legislations and mutual national legislations. Look what's going on, and also some training, capacity building, maybe some insurance teams that could go to the Emirates, learn from their experience and best practices. So this is an annual MOU reconduction for the training and forging the cooperation between both countries. So I'd like to kindly call on stage the two signing members of this agreement, Mr. President of the President of the Board of Governors of the Council of the Emirates Federation of Insurance Companies, and Moroccan President of the Moroccan Federation, Mr. Ben Salah.
Tfadalou. Je vais demander à Madame la Ministre si elle peut avoir l'amabilité de venir à nous.
You kindly ask the Honorable Minister to join us for the photo for the signing of this MOU. Mr. President, could you please join us? Honorable Minister, can you please join us?
Signature de cet accord entre
Signing of this agreement between the Moroccan Insurance Federation and the Emirates Insurance Association. Mabruk, congratulations. Thank you very much. Now, please kindly go back to your seats, Honorable Minister and President. I'd like, for now, recall by the time our guests get back to their seats, it's right after the coffee break. We're going to be listening to the speech of the global insurance companies, and also the president of the France Assureur, the French Insurance Federation, the Life Insurance of Japan, and the speech of the Insurance Europe, and also your president of UNESPAD, who is coming from Spain, before also welcoming the great speakers and panel. 15 minutes of coffee break. Please be on time back in this room.
هذه مقاطع من تجربة اجتماعية حقيقية. التدخلات والأحداث واقعية.
اليوم عيطنا على عدد من المواطنين باش نسمعوا الرأي ديالهم فيما يخص التأمين على الوقائع الكارثية واللي غتصبحوا بفضله محميين من الكوارث. دابا غادي نطلب منكم إلا كنتوا متفقين مع هذا التأمين